The internal splits in the Conservative Party are getting a lot worse. We've had the psychodrama of last year, and we saw just how, well, mudslingy the Conservative leadership contests were. And it's been going on a lot longer before that, even at low-level events. And interestingly enough, we've also had very recently Suella Braverman only invite what she would consider to be friendly press outlets on her trip to Rwanda recently. And that, I think, has seemed to have signaled a very, very big sea change. And even the Conservatives now taking more leaves out of Republican playbooks in America to say, well, I'm not going to invite all the media. I'm only going to invite some of the media, or even give privileged access to certain people in the media, people who would be friendly to us. And if you are somewhere in the UK, you would know something of what became dubbed as the Paxman Conundrum, where Jeremy Paxman was hailed for years as being this incredibly tough, really good interviewer. He did some amazing political interviews over the years that he was an interviewer. And in some cases, he destroyed careers. He destroyed some politicians' careers just through one interview because he was a tough interviewer. He did not shy away from asking the hard questions. The problem was that because Jeremy Paxman was such a tough interviewer, politicians, and not just politicians, but other people would refuse to be interviewed by Jeremy Paxman. And it almost rendered Jeremy Paxman being an interviewer, but with no people to interview. And this started the conundrum of politicians would love to be interviewed by the BBC, we'd love to go on. And they said, oh, excellent, great. We've got Paxman lined up. Oh, no, not Jeremy Paxman. So we are sort of starting to see this similar conundrum now, that the Conservatives are starting to circle the wagons in terms of media coverage. And the more they do this, the more we should be asking questions of what is it they do not want us to see? What are they doing behind closed doors, especially as Rishi Sunak has recently done at the big Conservative Spring Conference? One of certainly the big political events of the calendar for Conservatives. So before we go talking more about this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page, the one-off donation link, the Buy Me Coffee link, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, you can join the Pony Club down below as well. So thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way as well, even if you just click the like and share button. So this, I think, speaks to just how much I think the party is fractured. And I think Sunak is desperate. And not only just I think Sunak, but I think other members, it's certainly at the Conservative HQ, want to try and keep it under wraps as much as possible. Indeed, it would be interesting to see what fringe events take place around the Conservative Party conference this year, what they're talking about, what they're discussing. Because all big parties have their big sort of conference, and then you have the fringe events. And what these certain events are they're part of the conference, but they're unofficially part of the conference. So whereas all the main stuff takes place in one hotel, and then you might have a bar or another hotel host another or different event, which is again part of, but unofficially part of the whole conference. So it would be interesting to see what fringe events take place around this year's Conservative Party conference, what they are saying, because ultimately, I highly suspect it's going to reflect what's happening inside. But one of the big things that people are talking about is the fact that they seem to be selling access that it's going to cost about £500 to be a businessman if you want access to sort of Rishi Sunak or maybe another one of these Conservative MPs. Seems a bit suspicious. Also, trying to do a training event for, or at least what they're calling it, or at least their excuse is, oh, this isn't a normal conference. This is just a training event. And on the list of from what has been seen, it's how to approach Conservative Party donors, how to get them to say yes, which is kind of weird to say the least. But normally, this conference is used, and it has been used by previous Conservative sort of party leaders to be not just a speech to the party, but to be a speech to the wider country as well, to get them amped up for, well, a new policy, or these are our successes, or hey, there's a general election coming up, get pumped up. Will there be a big behind the door speech by Rishi Sunak? It's possible. There is also the very much likelihood that Jeremy Hunt is going to get a very, very big grilling from the party because he's doing a question and answer session. And with the fact that inflation has now gone over 10% and has sort of remained above 10%, a lot of people are not happy in the Conservative Party with Jeremy Hunt because Hunt and Sunak promised we are going to deal with inflation. But as a lot of people have said, for the past two budgets, there's not really been a lot in those budgets which would help to tackle inflation. So there is a sense and a feeling that this is also, again, part of the wider thing to stop sort of, essentially fellow Conservatives questioning sort of Jeremy Hunt's wisdom and how he's running the Treasury. So that's another thing that it seems they don't want the public to see. But overall, the more this continues, the worse I think it becomes. I think the fact that you have one of the big political events of the year off the calendar, and you're now saying, sorry, no media, I think really does go to show you how scared the Conservatives are of showing the divisions that now exist within the party. And as we've said many, many times before, people do not vote for divided parties. And if you were to ask which is the most divided party, sort of current political UK party in the UK, it's the Conservatives, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it's the Conservatives. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to click on that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, again, links down below to my Patreon page, the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, the Pony Club, all down below. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time.